I just gained powers akin to those of a creator. But the next day, I was diagnosed with advanced stomach cancer. In order to survive, I transformed the orchard back home into a vast sandbox world. I accelerated life's evolution and processes, hoping to create a civilization capable of curing cancer. As the ancients continuously explored my square sandbox, they were shocked to discover that this world was both round and flat, with even gigantic beings towering as tall as mountains. When the development of civilization did not meet my expectations, I would simply start over. I offered each hero of the civilization a chance to ask me a question. Whenever they asked how many days it took to create the world, I would recall the scene of running in the dirt to build the sandbox and answer. It took me 7 days to create this land. And so, the legend spread across the land that it took 7 days for the divine to create all things. Civilizations rose and fell within my sandbox time began. But who would have thought that all these magnificent civilizations originated from a single bond? Initially, I built an artificial diving pond within the white wooden sandbox in the orchard, and crafted it into an ocean based on the salinity level. I introduced a multitude of insect-type dumplings into the central ocean, and sped up the rate of cell division by 10,000 times, meaning that for every day in reality, 10,000 years would pass in the simulation. However, even with this feat, it wasn't until the 5th day, which equates to 50,000 years, that these single-celled organisms began to evolve into some plankton, and the central ocean noticeably became murky. So, I quickly established a gene-based system to limit spore organisms. Since my garden only had limited space, I couldn't let these organisms evolve too drastically. On the afternoon of the 6th day, after the first 5 days of a primordial ocean of single cells, the seawater finally began to show multi-celled organisms. In just a few minutes, it was like watching an accelerated nature documentary. These plankton species birthed and went extinct within seconds, only to make way for new generations. But by the time the sun set, it was just as I expected. The sandbox world has witnessed its first mass extinction event. 12 hours of darkness means a loss of sunlight for 5,000 years here. Many aquatic plants withered and sank to the seafloor. The night falls with lifeless stillness. My sandbox environment is too small. According to Darwin's theory of evolution, a small number of species is insufficient to evolve a new life form adapted to the environment. But the thought of resilient single-celled Zerg in my ocean makes me hope it might bring me a surprise. Half an hour after the moonlight fell, a faint blue tint emerged on the sea surface covered with dead plant remains. It was a blue plant with leaves the size of an ant and intricate shapes. Unexpectedly, without direct sunlight, this plant somehow used the moon, with its faint light, as its new source for photosynthesis, surviving against all odds. In my amazement, I decided to name this plant blue larkgrass. The plant managed to endure past the sandbox's mass extinction event, and began rapidly evolving in seconds. Survival of the fittest. The blue glowing plants incredibly adapt to the night environment. They have evolved with edges and discs. Simply lotus leaves spread across the ocean surface, allowing them to absorb over a large area the moonlight above the atoms. An hour later, it has undergone tens of thousands of generations of evolution, leading to the formation of various branches. It even developed into 2 distinct species. One group of blue glowing plants continued to absorb moonlight in evolution, enhancing the conversion effect of the moonlight, while another group surprisingly turned carnivorous, preying on other blue glowing plants. They emit a faint glow by absorbing moonlight, to attract other blue glowing plants to drift closer, and then devour them. Watching this, I can't help but marvel at the resilience and wonder of life. Usually tied. After surviving the first mass extinction in history, this sole surviving aquatic plant, astonishingly in the dark ocean, developed its own cultural diversity. A thought suddenly occurred to me. Perhaps I should also use Earth's eras to document the countless genes of sand table evolution. So, I quickly picked up a black notebook, grabbed a pen to record the evolution process of this sand table. On Earth, the Cambrian explosion marked a great surge of life, becoming the era of origins for all life. Thus, dinosaurs came into existence, along with humans and various beasts. But in my scenario, the surge of life faces 5,000 years of darkness. Thus, I named this era the Dark Cambrian. Feeling inspired, I opened the black notebook to the first page of Genesis, and wrote down Dark Cambrian. The world shifted suddenly. Sunset, moonless. The world fell into a long darkness lasting 5,000 years. 99% of marine life faced mass extinction. Only the bluegrass, absorbing moonlight, became the sole surviving species. In this vast dark ocean, bluegrass reigned as this era's dominant force. I silently watched the pond, hoping it would transform into a sea of life. According to Earth's evolutionary history, marine plants appeared first. Next, marine animals continued to evolve. I wonder when a bush animal insects evolved. I didn't sleep all night, waiting for dawn. When the 7th day finally began, the ocean did not evolve into animal life as I had hoped. Is that another fascination for us? At the moment when the sun rose, they were suddenly exposed to the strong sunlight after basking in the dim moonlight, and plummeted to the ocean floor as if they had been scorched. The blue furs began a massive extinction in an instant. This was the demise of life. Throughout the long evolutionary years, measured in terms of years, countless species were born from the ocean. These are the epic tales of our vast planet. The process of slow evolution of life left me profoundly stunned. By the afternoon, a touch of blue slowly revives from the withered plants. It's a star-shaped blue larkspur. It has also awakened its own unique skill, and managed to escape this mass extinction, transformed under the blazing sun, reborn from the ashes, to better adapt to the intense sunlight. It starts to proliferate generation after generation. In just a few minutes, this blue larkspur dies and is reborn anew, proliferating countless times. It gradually deepens from blue, finally forming a mysterious sea of dark blue star-shaped planets. Mass extinction leads to demise. Opening the black notebook, the second page begins recording. 5 seasons of light, sudden changes in the world, moon sets, sunrises, while blazing sun floats in the sky for 5,000 years. The once dominant blue larkspur that endured dark seasons begins a widespread extinction. Among them, the weaker lineage of blue larkspur, the purple trillium, rises to prominence. Purple trillium becomes the main protagonist of this era, surviving the scorching daytime sun. Nightfall of the seventh day begins to settle. The purple saurian grass continues to live peacefully in the ocean. It has endured the sun and moon's alternation for 5,000 years. Meanwhile, with the photosynthesis of other rapidly reproducing aquatic plants, the oxygen content in seawater began to rise significantly. Conditions suitable for marine life to emerge were set. Soon, the single-celled organisms in the sandbox world's oceans began to evolve. The first to appear were a group of black beetles. Their shape resembled ancient Paleozoic marine species from Earth. Once satisfied, marine animals officially took the stage of evolutionary history. The moment I saw the appearance of animals, I finally showed a relieved smile. Bearing the exhaustion of staying up for a whole day and night, I returned to my room and fell asleep to my head pillow. When I woke up, it was already the 8th day since the creation of the Bun Evolution Sandbox. I found that some marine animals were no longer content. In a fiercely competitive ocean, they began to gradually evolve limbs and scales. They evolved into amphibians, living on the barren coastlines. And so, I quickly moved on to the next page of the Cambrian period, documenting this tertiary era. I've named it the Era of Renewal. The Era of Renewal saw a great explosion of diverse animal life. The first marine animals appeared, a flourishing of species competing for dominance. Invertebrates thrived by relying on their shells. They briefly dominated the oceans as rulers of the era, but their reign was short-lived. Vertebrates emerged,